The Finals is a brand new competitive first-person shooter game that just came out not too long ago. As of now, it's currently blowing up in popularity as it's one of the top games on Steam right now. So today I'm going to do a review on the Finals, breaking down what I think is the good, the alright, and the bad within this game. As a warning, everything will be based on my opinion, so something I find good might be bad in your opinion, and vice versa. Also, I should mention that things are going to change within future updates of the game. The developers are going to add, remove, nerf, buff, and tweak different things within the game. So something I find bad might be fixed within future updates, and something I find good might be completely removed. But as the game stands right now, as of making this video, this is how I feel about the Finals. With all of that out of the way, I first want to answer the question, is the Finals even worth playing? Well, in my opinion, yes, the Finals is worth playing. I think that if you enjoy competitive first-person shooter games, then you should most definitely try this game out, as I think it is one of the best competitive first-person shooter games I've ever played. This game truthfully has me hooked, as I love playing it, and it's quickly become my main game of choice to play. I've already racked up over 100 hours of playtime on this game, and plan on putting a lot more hours into it. Honestly, this game is really fun, and I think that it prioritizes fun over everything else. It doesn't try to be too realistic or appeal to a certain group of people. It's just simply fun, and I love that. Don't get me wrong, it's competitive too, as the game can be tense and gripping. There's moments where you get sucked in and you're sitting at the edge of your seat trying to do everything you can to win the match as the last few seconds tick down in the round and you have to make a huge play or that's it for you and your team. So yeah, the Finals is not only fun, but it's really competitive too. This game will just suck you in and make you want to keep playing more and more of it. There's no doubt in my mind that you should try this game out because it's 100% worth playing. Alright, with that question answered, it's time to get into all the good that this game has to offer. Firstly, this game is free to play and it's cross-play. So that means not only can you download and play the Finals for free, but you can play on any platform and still play with your friends on a different platform. So if you play on PC, but your friend plays on Xbox or PlayStation, then that's okay because you can still play together. I think this is huge for this game as you don't have to pay a dime to play it and you can play with whoever you want to. Additionally, I really love the gunplay within this game. All the weapons feel really good for the most part. The way they shoot makes them feel like they have power to them. They all have a good recoil pattern to them as well, where there isn't too much recoil, but it's not like all the guns are laser beams. Speaking of the guns, there's a good amount of them for each build. The light build specializes in close quarters combat, so they have weapons such as SMGs, a pistol, a sawed-off double-barrel shotgun, and melee weapons, but they do have long-range options as well, like a DMR and a sniper rifle. Then the medium build specializes in medium to long-range combat, so they have ARs, a magnum, a grenade launcher, and a bolt-action shotgun. Then they do have a close range option as well, which is the riot shield. Finally, there's the heavy build, who specializes in all ranges of combat, but with bigger weapons. They have LMGs, a big grenade launcher, a flamethrower, a revolving shotgun, and a sledgehammer. I feel like each build has a good amount of options to choose from, and each weapon fits really nicely for its build. I honestly wouldn't change around where any of the weapons go within its build, as each weapon pairs with its build and what they do really well. What exactly is the thing that separates each build, you might be asking? Well, that's the next thing I really like about this game, is the builds themselves. Each build has its own set of specializations, gadgets, and obviously weapons, as I just talked about them. For the light build, they are really small and fast, but the trade-off is that they only have 150 health. Their specializations are there's a way that they can go invisible for 12 seconds at a time, a grappling hook that can get them up to anywhere, or an evasive dash that can allow them to move around even quicker. I should mention that they, along with the other two builds, can only choose one specialization to use, one weapon to use, and 3 gadgets to use at a time. Each build also shares similar gadgets, but also has gadgets that only that particular build can use. For example, the light build shares gadgets like frag grenades or pyro grenades, but they're the only build that can have a stun gun, thermal sense, and a vanishing bomb, just to name a few. As for the medium builds, they are a bit bigger than the light, but not as big as the heavy. They are balanced between the two other builds, making them a good all-around build. Also, they have 250 health, which makes them more tankier than the lights, but not as tanky as the heavies. For specializations, they have a healing beam to heal their teammates, a guardian turret to help kill the enemies, and a recon sense to see where the enemies are. Then for gadgets that they only have, there's the defibrillators, a jump pad, and a zipline that they can deploy, just to name a few. Finally, there's the heavies that are big and tanky. They have a total of 350 health, but the trade-off is that they're really slow. For specializations, they have a charge that they could use to go through walls or take down enemies, a mesh shield that they can protect themselves or their team with, and a goo gun to build cover wherever they want to. As for gadgets that they only have, there's the dome shield, RPG, and C4, just to name a few. Overall, each build seems to do their job really well, as the light is good at pushing flanks and isolating 1v1s, the medium is good at supporting the team, and the heavy is good at protecting the team and doing serious damage to the arena. Speaking of the arena, this is where all the action takes place. There's a total of 4 arenas, or maps I should say, as of right now. Each map is, in my opinion, well crafted and thought out. They all have really good level design and have a good amount of cover and vantage points to fight from. Not to mention the maps are heavily focused on destruction, as you can pretty much blow up any wall you want and even take down entire buildings. I think this adds to all the fun and chaos that this game offers, making the experience that much better. The fact that if I want to blow through a wall to get to the objective, or even blow up the ceiling above me to get the objective down to the floor I'm on, is honestly amazing. It makes for some really creative plays and makes the maps feel like an open sandbox. I would like to add that the maps also have a good amount of ways to transport and move around them quickly because of the zip lines and jump pads all over the place. They allow for you to get the high ground as well to get the drop on the enemy. Also, there's different types of weather, time of day, and events that can change at random every time you load into a map. So you can play a map with clear skies, it being sunny, and have laser beams shooting out of the sky. Then you could play the same map again next match and have it snowy, it being dark out, and have an alien invasion happening on the map. This is awesome in my opinion, as it makes no one match feel the same, even though you might be playing on the same map again. Furthermore, I love the game modes that are offered within the finals. There's a total of 3 game modes, which would be Quick Cash, Bank It, and then Tournaments. Quick Cash pretty much is the main game mode within the finals. It's these 3 teams of 3 fighting over cash boxes that they have to bring to a cash out and defend until the timer is up, and then they gain $10,000. The goal is to be the first team to reach $20,000, so you have to collect another cash box and bring it to a different cash out and defend it until the timer runs out. The catch is other teams you're facing can steal the cash boxes from you and put them in the cash out, or they could even steal the cash out itself from you if you fail to defend it, and they'll take all the progress you've made on it as well. Luckily, you can steal it back, but to do it, you either have to eliminate the team defending it and the team that's also trying to steal it, or pull off a really sneaky steal while everyone's distracted fighting each other. As for the game mode Bank It, pretty much it is a faster game mode that sees 4 teams of 3 facing and fighting to deposit $40,000, which is done by individually collecting coins and depositing them at cash out banks. In Bank It, players will hold cash themselves by picking up coins, but once they die, their coins will drop and be available for anyone in the lobby to pick up. You must deposit your coins at cash out boxes that will appear and disappear across the map, with a timer indicating how long you have to deposit the cash at that particular cash out box. Finally, there's the tournaments, which are just like Quick Cash, but with 4 teams of 3 instead of 3 teams of 3, and there's 2 cash boxes that spawn on the map instead of just 1, which means that there can be 2 cash outs happening at once. Also, tournaments are played in 3 different rounds, or 4 if you're playing ranked, instead of just the 1 round in normal Quick Cash. The reason there's so many rounds is because you could potentially get knocked out if your team doesn't qualify for the next round. The way your team qualifies for the next round is by having the most amount of cash within the match, or at very least being the second team with the most amount of cash until you make it to the final round, where the first team to get $20,000 wins. I should mention that both Quick Cash and Bank It have unlimited respawns, while tournaments only have a limited amount of respawns, so reviving your teammates is huge in tournaments. Also, if your team gets wiped in tournaments, you lose a percentage of your money, whereas in Quick Cash, that's not the case. Those are all 3 current game modes explained within the finals, and honestly, they all play really well within this game. There is a ranked mode as well, which is just tournaments, but with one more round, and obviously you receive or lose rank depending on if you win or lose the game. Likewise, I really love the movement within this game. Everything feels really good from the running, jumping, strafing, crouching, and sliding. I feel like the movement works really well for this game and pairs nicely with the gunplay. Finally, the last few things that I think are worth mentioning in this game that I think are good are the aesthetics within this game are amazing in my opinion. Everything's bright and colorful from the maps to the characters. This game doesn't try to look too realistic at all. It gives off more of a Fortnite kind of look where things are more animated. However, the finals isn't to the point where it feels too animated and childish. It hits the sweet spot where it's animated but looks real too. I must say the finals UI is also done really well, as I don't feel like it's too cluttered or confusing. Instead, it's actually really organized and big enough to where you can see everything, but not too big to where it's overwhelming. I feel like nowadays a lot of games are making their UIs way too big, cluttered, and confusing, so it's refreshing to have an actual good UI within the finals. I genuinely appreciate this as it just makes navigating it and finding things easy. The very last thing is the game bundles and cosmetics. While this isn't a big thing for some people, for others it is. I'm happy to say that the game bundles and cosmetics are done really well here, as most of the cosmetics you earn or buy through the bundles are really good. Personally, I like making my character look cool, so this is a big thing for me. The finals definitely took some time making these cosmetics as they match the game's aesthetic and make you feel like you could really tailor your character's look to how you want it. Okay, so now that I've talked about all the good that this game offers, it's time to talk about all the alright things within the finals. These are things that aren't necessarily the worst, but aren't necessarily the best either. The first thing is the settings within the game. I think that this game could definitely have better options within the settings to better tailor your experience to how you want it. While there is a good amount of setting options, there could just be more, especially within the graphic settings. Additionally, I feel like the ranked rewards you earn within the finals are just a little bit lackluster. I think you should be able to earn a lot more for playing ranked and going up against the best of the best. But instead, all you earn are some mediocre cosmetics. I think if you were given multiple cosmetics that are actually good and get even better as you get higher in the ranks, then there would be more of an incentive to want to play ranked. For example, they could give out a charm, a sticker, and maybe even an outfit for each rank. For each rank, the cosmetics would look even better as you progress. So bronze and silver would be alright, gold would be pretty good, platinum would be really good, and then diamond would be the best of the best looking. Furthermore, I think the practice range could use some more work within the finals. While the practice range has a lot of good qualities to help you learn the game and try new stuff, I think it needs more to be able to actually practice and get better. The targets that are within the practice range should have an option to be able to move them to your liking, adjust them to what you want them to be, that being whether it's a light, medium, heavy, or mix of all of them that you're shooting at, and have your accuracy displayed somewhere. It would also be useful if you could turn headshots only on or off, have a timer for how long you want to shoot the targets for, and be able to adjust if you want them to shoot back at you or not. This would just make the practice range so much better and would help you to actually be able to practice. Likewise, another thing that's alright within the finals is I feel like the cash out in quick cash or in tournaments can sometimes take a little bit too long. I think that the time in which it takes for a cash out to complete can be adjusted a little bit to be just a tad shorter. Also, you should have the ability to be able to continue stealing the cash out after the timer ends at the very end of the round if you're still in the middle of stealing it. This would just be a quality of life change that I think would really benefit the game. Finally, the last thing that I think is alright within the finals is unfortunately this game does have skill-based matchmaking, but it's nowhere near as bad as other games that have it. So while it does suck that it's in the game, at least it's not noticeable to the point where it ruins the experience. I think that while skill-based matchmaking should be in place for the very bottom percentage of players, as well as in the ranked playlists, it shouldn't be within the casual playlist for the majority of players in the game. but at least it's not like Call of Duty skill-based matchmaking system, because that would definitely ruin the game. Alright, so now that I've talked about both the good things and the alright things within the finals, it's now time to talk about the bad things within the finals. The first bad thing within the finals is the game does need some balancing done to it. I think that there's some stuff that's just too broken right now within the game and needs to be fixed immediately. For example, a few things that I think are broken are the double barrel shotgun being too good, the invisibility specialization being too good, the Guardian turret does too much damage too quickly, and the sword is too good. Some more balancing that can be done is the FCAR could use 5 more bullets in the mag, the mediums can be a little bit more faster than the heavies, putting C4s on barrels and launching them at people, also known as nuking, is way too good, and gas kills way too fast. Additionally, this game, like most competitive first-person shooter games, does unfortunately have cheaters. I don't think that they're bad in quick play or in regular tournaments, but in ranked, especially at the higher levels, there's a good amount of them. This game does have a good anti-cheat, so it's not like the game is plagued by cheaters, but there are still cheaters that are able to get past the anti-cheat and make it into the game. Especially with this game being free to play and cross-play, it does make the cheating problem a little worse. However, that's just the trade-off for being able to play the game for free and with anyone on any platform. So just be aware this game does have cheaters, and if you're going to play this game at some of the highest levels, you're bound to run into them. Finally, the last thing that I think is bad within the finals is the respawn timer just takes a little bit too long in my opinion, and that hurts the experience. I understand that they want a heavy focus on reviving your teammates rather than just respawning, but a lot of the time it's extremely difficult to revive your teammates. The reason being is because there's so much action and fighting happening at once, it could be a serious challenge to get away from it all just to heal your teammate. That's why they should reduce the respawn time, at very least in quick play, so that you don't always have to focus your attention on the revive. Plus, it just sucks waiting 20 seconds to come back while your teammate is fighting for their life to stay alive so you don't get wiped and have to wait an additional 20 seconds. That's just way too long when you have a timed objective to get to. They need to reduce it to at least 15 seconds, maybe even 10 seconds, so that if your teammate is unable to revive you, then at least you could come back and help them out quicker so that they're not all by themselves for 20 seconds if per se both you and your other teammate died. This, in my opinion, is just a quality of life change that would improve the game significantly, because as it is right now, it's just way too long. In conclusion, the finals is, within my opinion, a great game, and it's most definitely worth trying out, as it's extremely fun to play and has a lot of good things to offer, such as the game being free to play and cross-platform, it having really good gunplay and movement, it having a really good character build system, and so much more. The finals does have some alright things as well though, like it needing more in-depth settings, better ranked rewards, improvements to the practice range, and more. Then unfortunately the finals does have some bad things too. That being, it does need some balancing done, there are cheaters within the game, and the respawn timer takes way too long. Overall, I think the finals offers way more good things than it does bad things, and it does most things right. Really, it only needs a little bit more improvement, and this game would be a solid 10 out of 10 in my opinion. But as it stands right now, the score I would give the finals within its current state is a 9 out of 10. I honestly think this game deserves this score for everything that it does so well and for it being so fun. As I said, with a couple more improvements, this game can be a 10 out of 10. Really, it just all depends on the developers and what they decide to do with the game and what changes they decide to make. Hopefully they listen to at least the majority of the community when making decisions to change the game, so all the changes can be seen as improvements. But really, only time will tell. As it stands now though, if you're looking for a new fantastic competitive first-person shooter game, then I 100% recommend the finals. That's it for me though. What are your thoughts on the finals if you've played the game? Also, if you haven't played the game yet, do you plan on playing it now? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like. And if you want more content like this, then subscribe. Have a great day, everyone.
big thanks to our sponsors for bringing us this incredible spectacle, and a big congratulations to our winners.